Good evening to you. I'm Danilo Evangelista, and welcome to our tropical weather outlook for July 31st, the last day of July 2025. Today's tropical weather outlook is going to be quick because there's not really much to go over, except in the Eastern Pacific, where that's where we're going to start off with the National Hurricane Center page. All of the activity continues to remain in the Eastern Pacific for now. And obviously all of it is out to sea and not impacting anybody. We have newly formed, as of today, Tropical Storm Gil. Maximum sustained winds are at 50 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,000 millibars. And this is probably going to move off to the west-northwest. Again, well far away from the coastline of Mexico here, so no need to worry about that. We also have Invest 92C. This is probably not going to develop anymore. Tropical Storm Iona, which is rapidly weakening. And will probably be out of our hair completely by the end of the week. Obviously, no impacts to Hawaii. And then we have another area of where activity could occur, and this will probably likely develop over the next several days and become yet another storm in the Pacific. All of the activity occurring there right now. And here's the satellite imagery of both the Atlantic and the Pacific, just to give you an idea of the contrast in activity we have right now. You can see all of the convective activity, all of the rising motion right now in the Pacific. And then, of course, we have Tropical Storm Gil here. And really quickly, just to show you its track, going to move off to the west-northwest. Probably will not bring much impacts to Mexico other than swells, which, they are impacts in and of itself. And swells and rip currents can be life-threatening, so obviously keep that in mind. But in terms of direct impacts with rain, gusty winds, tropical storm force winds, none of that will happen to Mexico at all, so you don't have to worry as we head into the end of the week. But meanwhile, this will move to the west-northwest, could become another hurricane. So again, adding up the tallies here in the Pacific. And just once again showing you where all of the favorability is. And again, it's all of this activity being caused by the MJO favorability all in the Pacific right now versus the Atlantic, which is very barren, very dry. Lots of mid-level dry air, as I showed you yesterday. And of course, lots of Saharan air out there. And of course, the MJO as well. Here are the velocity potentials right now. And you could definitely see where all of the positive rising motion anomalies are, and it is in the Pacific. And we have all of these negative velocity potential anomalies, or negative for development, right now in the Eastern Atlantic over Africa. And that's obviously keeping a tampering or a cap on the wave train. And of course, just in general, definitely keeping things dry in the Atlantic for now. So not much of activity to really be worried about in the Atlantic right now. And just really quickly, just going to bring you here on the GFS to kind of bring you out towards the next week. Not much of activity really going to occur within the next week in the Atlantic either. We might maybe have some development off the East Coast associated with a front here that'll be moving off the coast of the United States and connects all the way to a massive system that'll be out here in the northern Atlantic. And we might get something to try to come out of this, as you can see on the GFS here. A few of these low pressure areas that try to break off from the front and consolidate, and that actually looks like an interesting system. Maybe that might be something that tries to develop. But in terms of any major development, especially something out of the deep tropics, we're going to have to wait a little bit while longer. But as I said yesterday, I think it's coming. The time is going to come very soon, especially as we head into probably after the 1 week time frame, after because this 1 week time frame goes out to August 7th now. Probably after that is when we'll start to see things get a lot more active here in the Atlantic. But once again, just to really highlight where all the activity will be right now, just look at the Pacific. Here's the GFS for the next week. We have one system here that's Tropical Storm Gil that'll go on and become a hurricane. Something else develops as we head into next week. That'll probably become a named storm, and judging by what the GFS has here, maybe even another hurricane. And then we have right at the tails of that, heading into the end of next week, or this time next week, yet another thing developing, and it'll probably become another named storm. And when all is said and done here, we'll probably have at least another 2 or 3 more named storms in the Pacific to talk about. And of course, the Atlantic will be quiet with nothing much occurring, at least for now. But once again, that'll be changing, especially as we head into August, which begins next month. Tomorrow is the first day of August, and since tomorrow is the first day of August, I'll also be doing, of course, I'll have a video update for tomorrow, but I'll also be doing a live stream tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, or maybe 6. Depends on what I feel, but definitely expect a live stream tomorrow evening on top of a video discussion that I'll probably be doing earlier on in the day. And we're going to go over what to expect now, since we are beginning to turn the page in the Atlantic hurricane season. We are now getting into August. Things are going to start getting more active. I'm going to show you what to expect. I'll have an updated hurricane season forecast. If you remember, I did one back in June. I'm going to update it with, everything that we know now in the early season, and what my updated expectations are going on from now through the rest of the hurricane season, especially as we head into the peak. But for now, that's all we have really for today. So I guess I'm going to end it off here. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and evening. Stay safe. Peace, love, and kindness to you all. Hope to see you again tomorrow.